I make videos here on TikTok warning women about marriage because, quite frankly, nobody warned me at all. No woman in my life ever warned me. And looking back now, I can't blame them. Most of them were brainwashed and even maybe lying to themselves that they were happy. But those women that weren't happy or that knew that it was just going to even be rocky, they just never spoke up. In fact, I was shocked when my best friend was getting married and her mom wasn't in her life, but her husband's mom, because she had a baby with the man she was going to marry, her husband's mom, her mother-in-law said, make sure you always have your own separate bank account. And I remember being shocked. Like, why would she tell her, she's not even her mom, because women need to get each other's backs, and that's what she did for her. I mean, I scoured my brain trying to think about it. Did anybody? Actually, one lady did warn me on my bachelorette party. I was walking into a restaurant with a group of girls, and I maybe had something that said that I was going to be a bride-to-be or something, and she said, don't do it. And I said, that's not a good sign. That's the only woman that warned me. Now, my friends, my bridesmaids, things like that, they were just as delusional as me. Like, oh, you're getting married? I'm getting married too. You'd go to weddings. You'd have older people approach you, say, hey, when are you getting married? That's kind of weird. It's like saying, hey, when are you going to be an accountant? Do you know I'm even studying? That's a good fit for me, that I'm mentally prepared for that. Like, it's a bit of a rude question, but we do it. And when my marriage was falling apart, and I'm guessing the rumors were starting to go around in my ex-husband's family, I went to a bridal party because his brother was getting married, and I just wanted to stay calm, and I was supposed to be in the wedding, so I went to the bridal party, and I was sitting next to some older women, and one lady was like, when I got married and things were getting kind of rough, my dad just told me to lay in the bed that I made. And she stayed with her husband. And I saw how her husband treated her. And I didn't say anything at the time. But if it was now, it'd be a little bit different. But I just, that was the last time I saw any of them. So I love what's happening here on TikTok. I love that we're talking and we're telling the truth. I know it hurts. And even people who may see this video, I'm not naming names, but the truth has to be told. And I made mistakes. I was too young. I didn't know any better. I was brainwashed. A lot of people just are brainwashed. Sometimes marriages work out, but at least tell the truth about how hard it is and about how you shouldn't jump into anything when you're not financially or mentally or emotionally ready. Not one damn woman warns me. Actually, I was told the exact opposite, that it was going to be the greatest thing I've ever accomplished in my life, and it turned out to be the worst thing I've ever accomplished in my life. My biggest regret. That's not an accomplishment. Getting married is not an accomplishment. I was lied to and I was brainwashed. Warning women about marriage because, quite frankly, nobody...
So if you haven't seen the entire video, I do suggest you watch the entire thing, but here's my take on it. This young lady is basically talking about how she never got warned about how marriage is. And I will tell you, I have a lot of married women in my family, and anytime you bring up marriage to them, their response is always, marriage is hard work, marriage is so tough. And I'm sure it is, because every married person say the same exact thing. And I'm just like, why is it such hard work? Because when you were dating, just regular dating, things were not like that. And there are people who actually lived in the same house or lived with their partner prior to being married. But as soon as they get married, things just become 10 times harder. It just scares people sometimes that, when they tell you that marriage is just so much work. And I'm just like, oh. First of all, to me, marriage is a business, because for one, you sign a contract, and only businesses you required to sign a contract. So no matter how hard people will try to tell you that marriage is not a business, to me it's a business, and we're going to treat it as such. And just know my life, like, I'm speaking for myself, there's certain stuff that I just won't accept in marriage or relationship. And to me, it is very unfortunate that people do not warn you about all those things that that will come up in marriages. And it's like, as soon as you get married, your partner flips on you, and then they switch. It's like they hit a switch, and everything is completely different. And I've heard this all the time from a lot of different people, and everybody's not lying. Everybody's not lying. What is the issue? Why is people switching up after marriage? It's because, yes, they know that you signed this paper. You signed this paper, now you're stuck with this person, and you know, things just kind of get worse. Men, they become pigs. They start throwing their trash everywhere, their shorts everywhere. They don't know how to do laundry anymore, all of that, because they're looking for this person to be a slave. And to me, whoever's gonna marry me, honey, you better be ready, because anyway, that's my take on it.
I make videos here on TikTok warning women about marriage because, quite frankly, nobody...
Good morning. TikTok mom and auntie coming to you today, telling you to go back and watch this video just for context, and then come back here. For clarification purposes, I am not just addressing this video to women. I am also addressing this video to men, or however you happen to identify. If you marry, or even if you are not married, always have your own separate bank account. Bar none. Have your own separate bank account. Make your own money. Have a way to support yourself. Always be looking to better yourself. If you are a stay-at-home parent, whether you are a stay-at-home dad, you're a stay-at-home mom, be bettering yourself. So you might not be in the workforce. However, that doesn't mean that you are not pursuing certifications. And there are plenty of those that can be pursued for free or insanely cheap. There are people on TikTok you can follow for that. Because your spouse or significant other can be the best person in the world. But sometimes relationships just fall apart, guys. And one thing that my mother-in-law told me, see, because my mother-in-law and I didn't always have like 100% of the best relationship, but she's always been honest with me. And my mother-in-law's also been divorced twice. My mother was divorced once when I was 10. And the day I got married, my mother-in-law looked at me and she told me that what she wanted me to remember was that I always needed to have my own bank account, have my own money, always be bettering myself, and always be ready to support myself. Because she loved my husband. My husband is her only child. But who you marry is not who you divorce. And when I tell y'all that even today that leaves me shook, it's legit. The wonderful man or woman you marry is not going to be the person you divorce. Divorce is acrimonious. It's mean. It's disgusting. It's awful. People treat each other terribly. And the falling apart of a marriage is always awful. And they go for blood. And your spouse, your soon-to-be ex-spouse, the vast majority of the time will not be happy until you are left with absolutely nothing. And while we're on the subject, prenuptial agreements are not just for rich people, guys. If you have assets, get a prenup or a postnuptial agreement. If you are going to buy houses together or vehicles together, or you are going to commingle bank accounts or anything of the nature, have a prenuptial or postnuptial agreement. Meet with an attorney and hash these things out. And if you mention that to your prospective spouse and they get offended, what, you don't trust me? you look at them and you go, I trust you now. It's not about trusting you now. It's about trusting what you're going to do should this relationship fall apart. Because hurt feelings trump common sense, guys. Always be protecting yourself.